So we're going to get started with our afternoon. I'm glad everybody had a great breakfast here. We had faith and family this morning at church. We had a nice honor guard, and now we're here to do what we came for. We're going to give away some money. We're going to give away some awards, and truly thank everybody for coming. And so I got a little something that I want to say. Really, not that I had a hard time with this, but I wrote this a couple of times, and hopefully I kind of get my point across. Do you love me? Is this a question that we ask anyone in our lives on a daily basis? I know I ask my wife, and it's always yes. I ask Jesus Christ, and he replies yes. I loved you before you were born. The reason I ask this question today is that on this special day is because do you love those who need our help the most? At Christmas, everybody wants to do for the homeless and for those for the most help, and that's great. But today, on June 5th, we need to remember that who we need to help at Christmas also need our help in the middle of July. The veteran who made it home but never fully made it back. The homeless who will love to have a clean pair of socks and a good night's sleep. The mentally challenged who just want to be understood. And lastly, those lost lives because of abortion. Today, the Knights of Columbus stand up here and say, we support all those at Christmas, but also on the 4th of July. I challenge all of you today to remember that we are here for a short time on this earth, so help take up your cross, help our brothers and sisters, because for the ones that can't help themselves. Now, one of the reasons I actually always think about this, and one of the reasons I actually do what I do in my community and for the charities that I do help with, is that I personally myself have never had a lot of money, but belong to what I, for what I do is trying to give money away and raise money. There is never in my wildest dreams would I've ever been able to give away the money that I do. It's not on part of me personally, but it's part of the Knights of Columbus, me raising money, and with me and my council that we raise this money to be able to give it away like we are here today. So, you know, it's always a hope that I can give away millions, but, you know, from time to time, you know, we give away what we give away. So I ask you today to open your hearts to God, listen to God, and feel his presence. Thank you. I'd like to thank a few people for coming today. Of course, I thank everybody for coming, but I'd like to mention a few. Jim Mendrick, DuPage County Sheriff. Bill Hayden, Chief of Police of Addison. And a name that took me forever to pronounce, Joe Moranowitz. Everybody hear me?
No. You have to get real close to the microphone.
It wasn't even on. Everybody hear me? What did I say? Joe Moreno. Hello? We have our AV guy coming. Hello? Oh. We switch the microphones? Thank you. I know Rick was the guy, so. I'm going to say it again. Joe Moranowitz, village manager. Bill Lynch, village trustee. Jay Del Rosario, brother Knight and village trustee. Maria Reyes, veteran police officer. Rich Spada, past state deputy. Our pastor, Father Jerry Rogers. Phil Heinz, St. Philip's deacon. Potentate, Tracy Burcham and First Lady Noe. Chief for band, Jay Elferick and his lady Susan. Assistant for band, Paul Perella and his lady Cindy. Past potentate, Keith Koopman and his First Lady Sharon. Sorry. And I'd like to acknowledge some past Grand Knights. Past Grand Knight, Dave Switzenberg. Past Grand Knight, Mike Provenzino. Past Grand Knight, Don Frost. And past Grand Knight, Jack Okachinsky. So we have a couple short speeches. We have some awards before we give out the money. Would Mr. Moranowitz like to come up, please?
Is that for the cash award or the speech?
Both.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Good afternoon, everyone. How are you? I am Joe Moranowitz. I'm the village manager for the Village of Addison. I've served in that capacity for many of you residents for 2 years now. So it's been a privilege and an honor to fulfill that role for you. School is out of session, correct? But I think we should bring back school just a little bit more here. So we're going to have a little trivia. I'm here to talk to you today about the Village of Addison, Shriners, and the Knights of Columbus. When were the Shriners established? I look really to this group. What year were the Shriners established? I think we're celebrating a pretty big anniversary.
1872.
Thank you very much. 1872. Wow. Knights of Columbus. When was the Knights of Columbus? 1882. Very good. I know this is a trick one here. Village of Addison. When was the Village of Addison established?
1884.
Thank you very much. In the back. Give that man a prize. That's Don Weiss with us today. October. Oh, he doubled down, everyone. He doubled down. October 6, 1884. No, but you know what else was pretty awesome and inspiring? The Shriners, fun, fellowship, and philanthropy. Generosity. That's what they stand for. Knights of Columbus, service and charity. That's what they stand for. Village of Addison. I love when you hear the Village of Addison, they talk about the Addison Advantage. What the heck is the Addison Advantage? We always hear about that, but what is it? I think it's more of the intangibles. And today, we have members here that they don't have to be here, but they want to be here. And Trustee Kathy Klusny and her husband, Andy, they're here with us today. Trustee Lynch and his wife, Adele, they're here with us today. Trustee Jay Del Rosario, his wife and his 2 kids, they're here. They want to be here. That's part of the advantage, that intangible, that relationship building. And you can't put a price on that. You just can't. And those relationships that we have within the village, within here, they echo throughout the community. And you say, well, Joe, when do you see that? How does that happen? Here's another question for you. Who's a leader in the room? Put your hand up if you're a leader. You know what? Here's the problem. Every hand should have gone up when I asked that question. Every hand should have gone up. Because I think leadership, it can be defined in one word: influence. Can you influence somebody? If you're a parent, that's a heck yes. You're doing influencing every day. Maybe some in a positive, maybe some in a negative. Hey, we do it because we love them. But if you're a leader and you can influence people, well then you know what? We can all give to our communities. We can all stand for something. We can come together and we can influence people in a positive way. And the Shriners and the Knights of Columbus, They do that with the Village of Addison. And we partner up and we get things done. And you say, well, Joe, what do you mean? How do you get that done? It's really easy. Anyone around for Memorial Day last weekend? I know I see a lot of familiar faces here. You being one, Mike. Tracy, his wife. They were over at the Indian Trail Junior High School. They had a breakfast that was done for all the residents. They came on, it was a tremendous event. Tony was there serving. There was a lot of people, and it was positive. And you saw smiles on a day that we were there to memorialize and honor people. And it was a great day. Went to the cemetery, relationships, influence, leadership. Shop with a Hero, where we look at those children and those underprivileged kids that maybe they don't have a lot, or they suffered a serious loss in their life, right? Knights of Columbus is there, and they're handing out free jackets to kids. I wish you could see the smiles. I know our community relations crew, they're there and they put it out. And if you can participate and influence kids and influence families and get involved and build further relationships, do it. Rockin' Wheels. Hey, all right, Rockin' Wheels, yeah, Rockin' Wheels. We just kicked off last Thursday, huge event. Who's giving out popcorn all the time? Mike Bruntz, Knights of Columbus, they're there. We have a Shriners parade coming up. When's that? We had one. It's either going to be the hottest day of your life or you're going to get wet. But don't worry, we'll have a bus this year. And that's going to be August 28th. But look at the organization that you have. And the Shriners were there too, for Memorial Day. They were leading the charge. But we have that parade, relationships, influence. You're seeing it again. That'll be August 28th of this year for that parade. They influence families, right? Unfortunately, they have sick kids. And that's why when you look and you have those baskets there, give today. Influence people, build relationships. Christmas, I love it too in the Village of Addison, and I'm going to give a lot of kudos to this board. We pray before every board meeting. I don't know if you knew that. We pray. Every denomination in Addison, we invite them to come on in and they say a prayer. Just what did we do today here? We prayed. And then you follow it up, and the Chief of Police, Bill Hayden, said, oh yes, when we were standing up to say the Pledge of Allegiance, because the board says the Pledge of Allegiance too. Every meeting, country, God, and service. It all comes together. And that's what we're all doing here as well. I look at the values. I look at the value system that the Knights of Columbus has, the Shriners, and the Village of Addison, and they're all parallel. They're all running together. But we make them perpendicular in this town. We purposely allow them to influence each other, hit each other, and build those relationships. God, country, service. Doesn't get much better than that. Be a leader today. I think everybody in this life strives for two things: purpose, and they want meaning behind that purpose. And when your day is called, you want to leave a legacy. And I think since the days of 1872, 1882, and 1884, people have lived a life of purpose, have had meaning behind that, and they've left a legacy. And on behalf of the village, I just want to thank personally the Medina Shriners. Thank you so much for what you've done for the community. The Knights of Columbus, thank you. And we're always here. We're always here to get involved. Lean on us because we're going to lean on you. And what are we going to do in the process? We're going to influence a whole heck of a lot of people. So thank you today, thank you for everyone, and thank you for listening to me.
So this is the very fun part for me. This is one thing that I always enjoy. From the very first time I was actually able to stand up here. This just makes me just nuts because I just love this part of this. So I have a couple awards. Actually, I got one award and one giveaway. So the very first award I'm going to give to is for he's quite the family man. There's nothing, if you ask this guy, he won't tell you no. If you go to this guy and say, I need some advice, he will give you advice. It may not be always the advice that you want, but it's actually genuinely from the heart. And it's actually, he's a right or wrong guy. So he's the guy to still, he's the guy to talk to. He wasn't able to make it here last year. He had something that came up at the last minute, and he wasn't able to make it here last year. We awarded his plaque to him at a later date for being a past Grand Knight. But Jack, do you want to come up here? So Jack, this award is for your years of your commitment to the, come on over in this side. Jack, this is the award for your commitment to the council, but more so than anything else, your commitment to the Mayor's Ball and what money that you've raised for us then to give away.
Well, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Michael. Whatever. I really appreciate this. It's not been a great year, but this helps to make up for it. Thank you, Michael.
So this next award is for Knight of the Year. This is another guy, family guy. It's all about family for him. With the Knights of Columbus, definitely always family first, which is one of the things that all of us should strive for. But this particular gentleman is family first. But there's also the business aspect of, running a council. And you need to keep those books. So without any further explanation, Mr. Massey, do you want to come up here? So Mr. Massey is our financial secretary. He does our spreadsheets, and he wants them to the penny. And so we don't miss anything. And then he always does tell me, Mike, you made a mistake.
Well, I guess I got some acknowledgements and thank yous. First to our district deputy, Mike, our Grand Knight, Chris, the officers of our council, other members. My appreciation for this award. There are several members of our council that deserve this award, as well as including myself. But with that said, I'm going to accept this award, not just for me, but for all the councils and their financial secretaries that do a heck of a job in completing their responsibilities. So thank you very much for this.
And what Frank didn't tell you is that so the financial secretary term is for 3 years, and Frank is going to be signing up for another 3 years. So one of the things we actually, so there's 4 degrees within the Knights of Columbus. Charity, Unity, and Fraternity is the first 3 of the Knights of Columbus. And we all take those to heart, especially charity. But the 4th degree is patriotism. Patriotism is all about serving our country and standing up for our flag, which the Knights of Columbus definitely 100% stands with and standing up to the values of what the flag means. So we actually have a gentleman here today that just became a 4th degree member a few weeks ago, and it's actually been a thing for us to award a sword to our new 4th degree member. So Mr. Grohl, you want to come on up here? So Bill Grohl, he became a 4th degree member a couple of weeks ago, and I issue your sword.
Thank you, sir.
This is quite an honor. When I first became a knight about 8 months ago, I assumed the 3 degrees initially, and I always thought to myself, okay, it's taken me a long time to become a knight. a lot of people have been trying to ask me to become a knight for many years, including my father. And I did take the step, and once I became a third-degree knight, I said to myself, okay, how do I become a fourth-degree knight? And lo and behold, there was a ceremony a couple weeks ago. It was an all-day event, and real interesting. The fourth degree is patriotism, as Mike said, and I never really realized what was involved in patriotism as far as the Knights of Columbus, but it's very important to do that. And I just want to say that, again, I'm quite thankful for the opportunity and appreciate it. Welcome. Take care.
No. So we're going to move on to giving out the checks, but I actually have one thing I actually want to do. So I heard this quote not too long ago, and it really struck me. And it's in regards to pro-life. And as everybody probably knows sitting here, is that how much the Knights of Columbus will stand up for that unborn baby. And it's not an unborn fetus, it's an unborn baby. And that baby begins at conception, and the Knights of Columbus will do anything that it can to make sure that baby becomes the person that who he was meant to be. But I heard this and it really kind of struck me funny that some people think the way that they do. So sadly, there's been a change in the common mentality that we are more led to think that our life is at a complete disposal, that we could choose to give birth or take it as we please, as if we are exclusive in the consequence of individual choice. Let us remember that life is a gift from God and it will always be sacred, and we cannot silence the voice of consciousness. Rich, you want to come up? Can I get Megan and Joe to come up here as well? Go ahead. Good.
Say a few words.
Okay.
Reverend Father, Reverend Mr. Deacon, worthy dignitaries, ladies all. It's a privilege for my family and I to be here today to celebrate so many good works that this great council does. And we'll see in just a few minutes. My focus is going to be on respecting life. And if I may, I just had a few thoughts that I wanted to share with you, that we're concluding the wonderful, beautiful period of Easter with the Feast of Pentecost today. Last week, we celebrated the Ascension. And part of the readings in that gospel readings talked about the disciples staring in the sky and the angels telling them, what are you staring at? You got work to do. Get out there, do that work. Well, whether it's the Knights of Columbus or the Shriners, many of the organizations represented here, even those, especially those who are receiving the support that this great council has mustered, stopped looking at the sky and got to work. And they're doing the work that God gave them. And today, we're filled with the Holy Spirit, which is our celebration of Pentecost. And the readings talked about the many gifts that we have, and that each one of us has an opportunity to bring God's word into life. And so today, in a special way, Damon Hildebrand Council here in Addison is going to be presenting checks in support of life. And if I may just put a plug for our Illinois Respect Life program, we have a multifaceted program. One of them that many people see is in advocacy. Our international office advocates as friends of the court when it comes to the legal aspects of it. Many in Illinois have been participating, and I know this council has as well, in Nights on Bridges, where we proclaim to all those that are out there that we believe in life and that abortion takes life. And so we're not in favor of that. It's important for us to let people know that. But on the charities end of it, we have a three-legged program that we just recently implemented. I like to refer to life as having two ends of a spectrum. Pre-decision, when a young lady is faced with the decision, should they take that baby to full term and life, or should they go to the route of abortion? On that pre-decision, a major support from the Knights of Columbus goes to crisis pregnancy centers. But once those young ladies make a decision that they are going to take and keep life, then the next step is who's going to help them, because so many of them are abandoned by their families and society. And what we have is many strong-minded, gifted people who make available what they call maternity homes. The Knights in Illinois have a major commitment to both pre-decision and that post-decision in support of those organizations. And the third leg of that stool, and that's been part of both the advocacy as well as the pre-decision, is our sponsorships of ultrasound machines, where a council can raise an amount of funds to place ultrasound machines in pregnancy centers for young ladies to see for themselves what they have is not just, as Mike just mentioned, a fetus, but rather a human being, a life. And so it's a great privilege for my family and I to be here, to be part of this great celebration. I always feel welcome here in Addison. I maybe have to move here. I love rocking wheels, everything else. So, Mike, thank you.
Thank you, Rich. So we have two checks today that we're giving out to two different organizations that support life. Megan, you want to come up first? So I have inside is your check for Waterleaf, but I also have a little baby blanket in here for you to give away to an
I can do that.
expected mom.
Thank you very much.
Say a couple things.
Yes. Oh, thank you. Oh, that's wonderful. Good morning. My name is Megan Barnhart, and I am from Waterleaf Women's Center in Aurora. And I first want to thank you very much for Mike for inviting me here today, Addison Knights of Columbus and the Shriners, on this beautiful Pentecost Day. What a great day to come and to not only talk about what we do, but life in general, and to breathe life, I would think, into what I'm about to kind of tell you a little bit about our story. Waterleaf's mission is to help and offer help and options for the women Mike explained a minute ago, experiencing unexplained or unexpected pregnancies. We strive to turn all of her fear into confidence by addressing physical, emotional, and spiritual needs. We are empowering our women to make life-affirming decisions. We do this by offering free pregnancy tests, ultrasounds, as we mentioned, and options counseling. Women intended to terminate their pregnancies are given truthful information about the risks and side effects of the various abortion procedures. We also offer now abortion pill reversal. This service allows women who have taken the very first abortion pill and then change her mind to have another option. With the abortion pill reversal protocol, there is a 68% chance the baby can be saved. Our robust resource An education program helps women and men secure the support resources they need, whether they are physical, emotional, or spiritual. Waterleaf also offers post-abortive counseling and pregnancy loss support. We were able to do all of this free because of those who support our mission. And as of today, since 2009, since we first opened our doors, we have served over 6,511 patients, and we have the confirmed birth number of 1,663 babies. And as you know, in a matter of weeks or days, we are waiting right now, I would say, for the grace of God and our Supreme Court justices to overturn Roe versus Wade. However, it is not time for complacency. We live in the most actively abortion-minded state in the country. The abortion industry is doing everything they can to normalize abortion. Just a few days ago in Illinois, I'm not sure if you know, we saw the end of the parental notification of abortion law, which basically means now that all minors are able to seek an abortion without any parental consent. And at the federal level, women now have access to the abortion pill without ever physically seeing a doctor. We are most certainly engaged in a spiritual war here, where the life of an unborn child is unrecognized and the role of a woman as a mother has been marginalized. It is more important than ever that centers like Waterleaf are here to serve women and men who deserve the truth as they face an unplanned pregnancy. We deeply, deeply appreciate your support for our mission, but I'm here to ask for one more thing from all of you. I'm going to ask you to pray. Pray for the women and men that come into Waterleaf every day or other pregnancy centers. Pray for the staff and the volunteer of these centers who professionally and compassionately serve this ministry. Pray for hope and healing for all of those who have been hurt by abortion. Pray for a change of hearts and minds so pregnancy will again be seen as a joyful blessing rather than a dreaded problem to be fixed. I invite you all to come to Waterleaf in Aurora and pray. We pray daily and we have masses once a week in our beautiful chapel. So I'm inviting you, you've been invited to come and pray with us. But finally, I want you to pray for the peace of this country in the next couple of days, next couple of weeks, after the ruling of Roe versus Wade. I pray that the Holy Spirit will give us all the grace and the strength we need to educate others and change the hearts of the abortion-minded. I always say this before I ever get up in front of a crowd. I say, "Come, Holy Spirit, come." I want the words to come out that are supposed to come out in a timely manner so I don't go too long. So I say, "Come, Holy Spirit, come. Breathe new life into us." Thank you and God bless you.
And we have a second check, Joe. And this is for the McGivney House for Hope and Healing.
Well, I have to follow those two good speeches. I'd like you folks to turn to each other and smile. I'm watching to make sure you're all doing that. What great feeling that is that you can smile at each other. It's an exercise. It's something that makes us feel good. When we see somebody else that's not smiling, we return a smile. Hopefully they feel good about themselves, whatever their problems and issues are. Think about that as a little baby. When they make that first innocent smile at you, how they make you smile back. And how thankful we are that they're there. That's what we at Father McGivney Centers of Hope and Healing try to do. We try to help these women have the courage to have their child and to bring them into this world that we don't know what it's going to bring. But we're going to provide them with the strength and courage, and with your help, it helps them grow. We need to be their support, and they need to know that we're with them. Yes, these unexpected pregnancies, these strange things that are happening in the world, but they need to know that we are behind them, that they have somebody to stand for and something to do. We have to go to work. We have to defend each other. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. Julie, you want to come up here? So Julie Noonan, but some people know her as Mrs. Noonan. She's St. Phillips's principal. I almost said high school principal. I almost said high school.
Oh, no.
She's our grammar school principal. So one of the things actually that we need to do as far as a parish is to do everything possible to keep the schools open, the Catholic schools open. So one of the things that we actually do is us as the Knights of Columbus do everything possible that we could do to support our schools. So my check's for a week. So I present a check for you.
Thank you.
You want to take it?
Thank you very much, and we appreciate the Knights so much, and we love to work with them as partners with them for the Tootsie Roll Drive, the baby bottles, and without their help for tuition assistance, some of our families would not be able to, afford to send their children to St. Philip, and we obviously want every family that would like to have their kids go to Catholic school to have that opportunity. So we appreciate that we're able to make that come true for a few families. And I see some of our students are here, some of our alumni. So we want to keep that tradition going. And St. Philip the Apostle is doing well. And that's thanks to groups like the Knights of Columbus. So thank you.
So I want to tell you a quick thing, and Mrs. Noonan, I don't know if I told you this. So we do a baby bottle drive in January with March of Life. But during January, February, the school is always really busy. And they're just busy. It's the middle of a school year. But they actually have said, hey, why don't we do the baby bottles in May for Mother's Day week? And I'm like, that's perfect. That's fine with me. It's kind of the end of the year, and they're winding down with everything that they do. This year, the school collected $1,100 through the baby bottles. So we have the rest of the checks that we're going to give out right now. So this first check is the Medina Shriners. They have been such a working partnership between the Knights and the Shriners. Like on Memorial Day, the Knights of Columbus did the breakfast. The Shriners led the charge to the cemetery and back. What two great organizations that can work together. It's just been a great thing. The Knights do what they do. The Shriners do what they do. Both great organizations. So that's why in the last few years we've actually, us as the Knights, want to support the Shriners. And Tracy, you want to come up? So our potentate, Tracy Burcham.
Thank you so much, Michael. First of all, we'd like to welcome everybody to the Medina Shrine Center. Thank you guys for having this event here. As Michael said, we enjoy the partnership with the Knights of Columbus and with the Village of Addison as well. We couldn't be happier to be in the Village of Addison. As Joe, our village manager, also referenced earlier before, this is a very exciting year for the Shriners. Celebrating our 150th anniversary of our fraternity, as well as our 100th anniversary of our philanthropy, Shriners Children's. Much like the talk here has been on children here this morning, We are a firm supporter in children as well through our hospital system, and this donation will help further that cause. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Knights of Columbus. Thank you, Village of Addison. We appreciate it.
So our next recipient, actually, I think she's going to accept the both. So Best Buddies and District 88. Thank you.
I'd like to say thank you on behalf of District 88 Transition Program and Best Buddies. We do a lot of work to help our students with their social interactions, so we really appreciate you supporting our teenagers as well as our young adults who have disabilities. Hopefully in the fall, we will be opening up our Perks and Possibilities Cafe in the Addison Library, so if you can, please come out and support our students as we teach them training work skills as they learn to become citizens in Addison Township. Thank you.
So this next recipient, just like the Perks and Possibility, I think both of the programs are very cool. So the Perks and Possibilities and Gateway, the Gateway for Learning, that's who this next check is for. They have a bakery. And it's all the residents, or not residents, but all the clients that actually are at Gateway for Learning. And what's so cool about it is that they bring these guys in, or girls and guys, and they teach them, you know, how to interact and how to be on their own and how to be self-sufficient. And you see them, and they're so happy about what they do. John, you want to come up? And it's just heartwarming to see. So, John.
Thank you all. As Mike was talking about, so Gateway to Learning, we're in the city and we're a day program for adults with intellectual disabilities. And so, yeah, one of our key functions, we have 5 commercial kitchens within our facility. We only serve about 80 people right now, so still recovering from the pandemic a little bit. But yeah, we have Dorothy's Sweet Shop. And so it's an opportunity for individuals to have a meaningful day. They're coming in every single day. They are working in a retail setting or they're working in the kitchens. And you think about when you're in a kitchen, you're getting a product. Like you're gonna get a brownie. If you come to Dorothy's, you're gonna get the best brownie you've ever had. But you get a lot more than that. Think about it when you're in there working, especially with another team and other people. You're learning socialization skills. You're counting, you're measuring, you're learning hygiene, sanitation. You're getting more than just a brownie out of this. And that's really what we have every single day, as Mike alluded to. So while we sell a great brownie, it's the participants and what they're getting. And it's because of you, we're able to do that. So thank you very much for all of the years of support. Thank you.
You think I ever had one of those brownies? St. Vincent de Paul. Rick? Rick the laser. You say anything?
Thank you. What my organization does is we help people that fall behind to a bump in the road with their rent or their utility. So we help them on, for this one-time benefit so they don't get evicted or they don't get their utilities shut off. So, and thanks to the generosity of the Knights as well as the parishioners of St. Philip, we've never had to turn anybody away because we didn't have any funds. So we appreciate what the Knights do for us. So thank you.
And I'm going to tell you guys, the guys that are Knights of Columbus, Rick has actually told me he's 90% sure he's going to become a Knight today. Misericordia.
Oh, yes. My name is Michael Hardigan, and on behalf of Misericordia, its staff, and its residents, including my youngest brother, Sean, we really appreciate the generosity of the Knights. They've been great supporters for many, many years. And I would encourage all of you, I think Misericordia is fairly well known, but it is a truly wonderful place. And it's a community of both residents, staff, and I think it is filled with saints. So thank you very much.
Tim Caruso, come on out. Tim Caruso is from the Kids Equipment Network. I will acknowledge that Tim Caruso and his crew, it is a crew, they actually are out on the street with the cans. So if you see Tim, don't run him over.
So I actually did bring the crew because it's not Tim Caruso, it's the Kids Equipment Network. And these are some folks who are representing the Kids Equipment Network. And we've had the privilege and the honor of working with many of the organizations that are here. And I can say that I proudly worked at Shriners Hospital for 30 years. And I miss you guys. But I had college tuition to pay and I had to move on. But I have a trailer on your back 40 with our stuff in it. And I thank you for that. The Knights have been very welcoming. When I came to Addison and they heard about what I was doing and I heard about what they were doing, and so we have had the privilege and the honor of serving the community for 17 years. And it started at Shriners Hospital with one of the nurses and I deciding that we needed to help the kids a little more because we would see people carrying their children into our facility. And I don't believe that you should have to carry your child with special needs anywhere. And some of the people who need the equipment that we provide are not able to get that equipment for any number of reasons. And I won't go on that bandstand today, but it's frustrating. But I can say we've served over 3,300 children. We've handled over 20,000 pieces of equipment, and we just shipped a 40-foot truck of stuff that was getting dusty in several of our facilities to Guatemala because there's a peer of mine who used to teach at Midwestern University, and she's down there now retired, but she's going to start a charity. So we just handed over some stuff to pay it forward. So we couldn't do this without the Knights, the Shriners, and everyone else who supports what we do. So we thank you very much.
Easter seals.
My name is Courtney Bronick, and I'm with Easter Seals. I'm their volunteer and community engagement coordinator. So we would like to thank the Knights for their continued support. The last few years have been very difficult on all social service programs. And our families, it's been hard for our families. So what we've seen at our centers has been an increase in referrals to our social service department. So our social service department has gone from 2 people to 8 people in the last 9 months. So we still have a wait list for families to be seen. So this will help with that because we're a big believer in treating the family, positive outcomes from treating the family. And if I can do a plug, we have a 5K run, 2-mile walk on October 1st. So you all are welcome to come out, run, walk, or if you want to volunteer, I have places for volunteers, so thank you.
Rich, you want to come back up? So I saved this is the last check we have for today, and I specifically saved this one for last. So they are a recipient of the money from the Tootsie Roll Drive, but they're also, we actually do a veterans dinner in February. In part of NESRA, they have a program, it's called the Healthy Mind, Healthy Bodies program, and it's completely for veterans, to help veterans in whatever they may need. Whether it's whether it's a gym membership, whether it's physical therapy, whatever they will need, even if it's just camaraderie where they come and they sit and they talk with other guys and have a meal, because a lot of times that's all these guys need is just somebody to sit and talk with about their experience as far as being in the military or being in a war. So that's what the Healthy Mind, Healthy Bodies program does with veterans, and we can't help. Us as the Knights of Columbus can't do enough for veterans, and the Healthy Mind, Healthy Bodies program being here in Addison is more so than something that we can't do enough for. Rick Poole is the I don't remember his exact title, but Rick Poole is actually the head of the NESRA here in Addison, and I was talking with him, I don't know, about a couple months, maybe 3 months ago. And then we actually we had gone out for lunch. I thought it was going to be just a regular, hey, how you doing lunch? But something was off with him, and I asked him, well, what was the matter? And he said, I'm just having a bad day. And I go, well, and I go, well, we're sort of kind of friends. And I'm like, so what's going on with them? What's going on? I go, just tell me. I go, your girlfriend loves you, she's not leaving you. And he goes, well, the 5 buses that are sitting in the back of the parking lot? And I go, yeah. He goes, can you believe that each one of our buses, the catalytic converter got cut out of the buses? So these buses transport all these clients for NESRA to go to different functions, different programs, and to some to where they can get to the facilities over here at NESRA. So they had to call all of these clients up, all these people that they heard, that they help and they service. They had to call them and say, sorry, we couldn't, we're not going to be able to pick you up. And it just beyond me, I just don't understand how in the world, and I guess if you're somebody that would do something like that anyway, I guess they don't have a conscience in the first place to go ahead and, if they're going to steal money, I guess they're not going to care about stealing a catalytic converter, from a charity, which is just unbelievable as far as I'm concerned. So one of the things, and this is what I need Rich's help for, so the Knights of Columbus has a fund, it's called it, and I need you to help me correct this in case I'm wrong. So it's called the General Assistance Fund. So we actually have a state charities director, and I had talked with him. He said that so the General Assistance Fund, so when we had the tornadoes last year or 2 years ago, the general, some houses got hit, some churches got hit, that money for the General Assistance Fund helped the Knights of Columbus went out there and gave money, gift cards and whatever else we needed. There were some floods that were down south too. That's what the General Assistance Fund did to help as well. You want to talk a little bit more about it? Because I know I'm missing a spot here with General Assistance.
Talk about the GA. Yeah. Okay. I'm not prepared for this, but I'm always prepared for this. The General Assistance Fund actually began with a program that was a 501c3. For many of you numbers people would know that there are very strong restrictions on 501c3s in that they must go to your money has to go to a charitable organization. What the Knights always felt is sometimes there's a need to give money to an individual. And the 501c3 parameters somewhat restrict that. So that gave rise to a program that we now call the General Assistance Fund. So among the things that you were able to provide assistance for include disasters, as Mike mentioned, hurricanes, fires. In fact, even in recent times, if I may tie this in with my life program, we had a pregnancy center in the Diocese of Peoria that was torched. And so our General Assistance Fund, along with our Respect Life Fund and some very dedicated knights in the Diocese of Peoria, not only rebuilt that, they bought a bank, an abandoned bank, right across the street from Planned Parenthood. And Planned Parenthood ultimately closed, and now they will have one of the largest pregnancy centers in Peoria to be able to serve those young ladies. So disaster is probably fitting to call that as part of a program that we have. But general assistance includes some bizarre and horrendous things, as Mike was just speaking to, a vandalistic thing where they cut out the catalytic converters. I know, I've heard in the news how much one costs for a car vehicle. So I can only imagine what it costs for a bus and for so many of those buses too. So this program, every council in the state of Illinois, and there's about 500 active councils, has means by which they raise funds. They pass the can, they have 5K walks, they have all sorts of schemes where they raise funds, what works best in their area. And most importantly, when they see a cause, it's unbelievable how they rise to the occasions. And so our brother knights, and many of you would appreciate this, would actually really come up with thousands of dollars if they had to overnight when it's explained what the cause is directly. So, and the General Assistance Fund is a means to that end.
That's correct.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead, I get. Oops. Sorry. So Rich can say things a lot more eloquently than I can. That's why I wanted to explain. So I've actually applied for funds through the state, the Knights of Columbus State Office, to help recover some of those funds. Because so not only did they actually lose the catalytic converters, they lost the use of the buses. I think they're kind of up and running. But also then we're talking with them, they're going to have to spend about $10,000 to $12,000 on cameras for back there so they can actually be able to protect the buses as well. You know, and for Nesbitt, I had to pay like $10,000 or $12,000, you know, for cameras where it actually be worth, you know, better suited to help clients and for those in need, and then trying to, you know, save the buses from a bunch of thieves. So, Ezra, you want to come up?
I just want to say a quick thing. I just want to say thank you for applying for that. As a parent, it means a great deal. I'm going to let my daughter Yvonne say a few more words about NEDSRA.
Hello, everyone. My NEDSRA journey has made me feel on top of the world. I am able to do things that I've always wanted to do. I learned sign language through NEDSRA. I always wanted to sign the national anthem, and this past May, I did just that at the Nezra track meet. With the Nezra karate program, I earned a 3rd degree black belt, and now I teach the class. With the Knights of Columbus support, Nezra provides Special Olympic sports. I enjoy being a Special Olympics athlete by participating in sports that I love, like bocce ball, flag football, basketball, and soccer. Other programs I enjoy are the performing arts programs, life skills such as fitness and cooking. The social programs at Nezra provide outings in a safe place for my friends and me to get together, which always puts a smile on my face. Thank you, Knights of Columbus, for your support of people like me and Nezra.
Could I have 1 minute?
You're going to have 1 minute.
I actually asked for this minute. Yvonne? Yvonne, I want to congratulate you for a great job of what you just did in your speech. Now, you know, Special Olympics has a program called Global Messenger.
Okay.
And I just asked your mom, are you a global messenger? And she says, no, you still have, you are already set. Didn't she do such a great job? You got to be certified as a global messenger. I can listen to you all day. Thank you.
We give a special applause for Rich for all the help he gave me today. So we have one more guy that we always love to hear from, Deacon Phil. Stay by the mic.
Stay by the microphone? I've never done a microphone before. I always find these very touching times when I have to follow up a wonderful speech. Things hit your heart when you think about the people who need help, who don't get help because there's no one there to help them. And so when I look around and find people who actually are helping, no matter what the situation is, the pandemic, lack of money, economy, time, health, they're there. You guys are there. I want to take an aside for a second before I forget. I want to thank Joe on behalf of Mayor Rich Veenstra. Mayor Veenstra and I are longtime friends. We went to the same grammar school, same high school, and we're still friends. And he can't be here because he's at a mayor's conference in Reno. And he said, it's okay, Joe's going to be fine. He's going to be great. I never met Joe, and he was fine, and he's great. So thanks from Mayor Veenstra. And thanks to all the other speakers, because we're all extremely well prepared. And the reason you were so well prepared is because it came not from pieces of paper, but from your hearts. And that's what's so important. It came from your hearts. As was mentioned, today is Pentecost, the feast in which the Holy Spirit came down upon 12 guys who were scared out of their minds, didn't know what they were supposed to be doing, didn't have any idea how they were going to be able to do whatever it was they were supposed to do. And all of a sudden, these guys who were not trained in any way, shape, or form went out into the entire world to spread the message. you go out to your areas and you spread the message. God has given each one of us a special gift. One of the benefits of life is that we are given an opportunity to use those special gifts. And so on behalf of God, I thank each one of you for the things that you do. The taking of that spiritual gift that you were given, patience, kindness, gentleness, fortitude, strong will. Those things that make you do the things that you do to help others is a gift from God. But you have to accept the gift. Just because it's out there, all those special gifts are there 24/7. God does not sleep. But we have to say, yes, I want this, I need this, I'm willing to do this. God gave us the benefit of doing it. And each one of you can appreciate that God has looked into your hearts and said, I want you to do something for me. And you said yes. And you continue to say yes. So that's building up the relationship that we have with our Creator. The readings today said that God will indwell with us. How do we comprehend God dwelling within us? It's that Spirit that gives us not only life and the ability to think, but to go out into the world that's a mess. That has terrible things happening 24/7. And yet, despite that, you are willing to go and do your own special piece of the puzzle that makes everything else whole. Just think that God is looking at you and saying, wow, you're doing good. Thank you for being an example. Because I need examples out there, because there's a lot of people that seem to bypass me. They don't think about me. They have no idea that I exist. They want to exist, they need me, but they don't care about me. I look over and I see that beautiful baby, and I can see why people say no to abortion and yes to life. Because that baby's going to have the gifts of the Spirit and will do something great. I thank Mike for giving me the opportunity to speak at you. And though I fight it and I give him a hard time, it means a lot to me to be able to say these things because somebody needs to tell you that God cares and that you aren't just doing things because. Thanks so much. God bless.
Thank you, Deacon Phil. I actually made a mistake with one of the envelopes. Ray Graham's here? Come on up. One of the envelopes got stuck together, so she's going to come speak real quick.
Hi, I'm Jill McWilliams. I'm from Ray Graham Association. I'm the development manager there. So thank you, City of Village of Addison, Medinas, and especially Knights of Columbus for your work with intellectual disabilities and in terms of respect for life. I am so privileged to be working at an organization that supports people with disabilities. Ray Graham has been around since 1950. And we serve about 2,000 people with disabilities. We have residential, we have recreation, life skills, employment, and family support. And as you can see from Yvonne's beautiful speech there, we help support people to be able to live their best lives, and reach, grow, and achieve is part of our mission. So I also want to say this is from check presentations, this is such a special check presentation for me coming from the Knights of Columbus. My dad is a third-degree knight. He is from St. Celestine's Parish, and he's in a retirement facility. So I'll have this opportunity to share this special moment also with him. So thank you so much.
So this is the point of the afternoon that everybody seems to enjoy the most. We're done. So I appreciate everybody coming. We will see you again next year.